Welcome back to the Relaxing Ghost channel here on YouTube. Today we got a special video for you guys. This is going to be the best of WWF 1998. I'm going to start doing this at the end of each year in the Attitude Era review series. Top 5 pay-per-views, top 5 matches, and other notable Raws, SmackDowns, title wins, things like this. So this will be the first one. I've already reviewed every pay-per-view from 1998, from Royal Rumble all the way until Rock Bottom. So really cool. I hope you guys enjoy this series. And we're only a few more away from finishing the reviews in 1999. I think I know which direction I'm heading there as far as top fives go. So let's get into this. Let me know your thoughts. And if you have, top 5 matches from 98 that didn't make the list or top 5 pay-per-views that didn't make the list, comment down below, guys. So let's get into it. I'm going to probably go with the top 5 matches first. Or maybe pay-per-views. I don't know which way we'll go. I think we'll go top 5 pay-per-views and then top 5 matches. So the pay-per-views was pretty tough to put together, because there was a pretty decent amount of good shows in 1998. It seemed like WWF was officially, ushering in this new era in 98. And it seemed like month after month there was, just a really good shows, opposed to, 96, 97, and especially 95. But 98, I think, is one of the better years in terms of pay-per-views. Some really, really good shows here. So number 5. I'm going to go back to July. This one might surprise a lot of people, but Fully Loaded 1998. This was in July. Really enjoyable show. This has one of my favorite matches on here. You also had Kane and Mankind defending the tag titles versus Austin and Undertaker. We had a skin to win bikini contest. You got a dungeon match, Shamrock and Owen Hart. Battle of the Bulls, DX versus the Nation. We had hardcore stars on opposing teams. And Triple H versus The Rock. 2 out of 3 falls for the IC title. Really, really good pay-per-view from July 1998. Probably one pay-per-view not many people talk about. Number 4. Although it's not considered one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time, I think this pay-per-view probably should be higher on this list. But WrestleMania 14, I'm giving it the number 4 spot in this year. I think this was really the turning point of the Monday Night Wars. And yeah, Mike Tyson in here. Shawn Michaels defending the title against Stone Cold Steve Austin. We officially crowned Stone Cold Steve Austin the Federation champ here. We also had Undertaker versus Kane. We had a tag team dumpster title match. The Rock versus Ken Shamrock. Taka Michinoku versus Aguila. Triple H versus Owen Hart. This was a really good show. I think it's a bit underrated in terms of overall WrestleManias. Number 3. Number 3 is, again, another one. Really good show. Gonna go to May of 1998. They only did 2 Over the Edge pay-per-views. 1998 was a really good show. This was back when they were still doing these kind of in-your-house taglines. Over the Edge 98, I absolutely love this show. By this point, WWF has secured a win in the Monday Night Wars. Got Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Dude Love, with Mr. McMahon as the referee. Got special timekeeper and ring announcer Patterson and Briscoe. You also got The Rock versus Farouk for the IC title. 6-man tag team war with DX versus The Nation. And special challenge match with Sable versus Mark Miro. And then Mask versus Mask. Vader versus Kane. I think this is a really good show. Again, very underrated in terms of overall pay-per-views. Number 2 and number 1 were pretty close for me. I enjoyed both shows fairly well. Number 2, I guess. Royal Rumble 1998. This is a really good Royal Rumble, and for any newer wrestling fans, if you haven't seen the Royal Rumble from 98, definitely check it out. It's worth watching. It's one of my favorites to go back and watch. When I got this Classic 5 of 98, I watched the Royal Rumble tons and tons of times. So we got a no disqualification casket match for the WWF title. Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker. We also got Vader versus Goldust, or the artist formerly known as. New Age Outlaws versus the Legion of Doom. The Rock versus Ken Shamrock for the IC title. We also have a 6-man mini tag team match. And the Royal Rumble match for the winner, receiving a WWF title match at WrestleMania 14. This would be Austin's second of 3 Rumble wins. Really good show overall. Of course, this is where Kane comes in, cost Undertaker the match. We all thought Kane was there to save Undertaker. Little did we know, he cost Taker the title, locks him in the casket, and burns the casket down. And my number 1 pay-per-view is going to be SummerSlam from 98. King of the Ring, I think, is a good pay-per-view. Same with Survivor Series. They just couldn't make the top 5. There just wasn't enough good on those shows to consider them being top 5s. So SummerSlam is my number 1. This is one I really enjoy. The Highway to Hell. This is one of my all-time favorites pay-per-views. And one day I'll show you the magazine for SummerSlam 98 where they had all this cool artwork of New York City being destroyed. It seemed like this is where the gimmick matches really started coming along. I mean, almost every match was a gimmick match on this pay-per-view, which I don't mind because they almost all made sense. We had a Lion's Den match. Ken Shamrock versus Owen Hart. Hair versus Hair. X-Pac versus Jeff Jarrett. We had a mixed tag. Sable and Edge versus Jacqueline and Mark Miro. D'Lo Brown versus Val Venus. Tag team title match. No holds barred. Falls count anywhere. Mankind and Kane versus the New Age Outlaws. And a ladder match for the IC title. The Rock versus Triple H. See The Rock there. And then for the WWF Championship, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Undertaker. Seemed like Taker and Austin were, just going at it month after month here. Some really good stuff. So before I get into my top 5 matches, I'm going to give some honorable, notable mentions here of some of the more important dates and accomplishments in this year. So we had 3 superstars winning their first world title. You know, back in 1998, there was only one WWF championship. That was it. If you were lucky enough to win it, you were considered a big deal. You were the man. So we had Stone Cold winning the championship, Kane and The Rock, 3 big-time superstars here, all winning their first heavyweight title. On April 13th, Monday Night Raw, the WWF officially won their first head-to-head Monday Night Raw in over 83 weeks, or 80-something weeks. I don't know the official number. Some say 83, some say 84. Over 80 weeks. But I tried to look into that a bit more. It seemed like not all weeks they went head-to-head, which makes this whole 83 weeks thing a bit more bizarre, because WWF did win when they were unopposed. You know, sometimes Nitro went preempted on Tuesdays and things like that. We've seen 2 new championships, or sort of new championships, be introduced in 98 as well. The first being the Women's Championship, which was reintroduced in September 15th, 1998. Jacqueline would be the first to win that, and then Sable would win it at Survivor Series. We also seen the Hardcore title introduced, I think in November of 98. Really cool. The Hardcore title was one of my favorites throughout the Attitude Era. Always fun stuff going back watching the Hardcore title. So top 5 matches was really hard to come up with, but I think I got the list here. So number 5, I'm gonna go with Triple H versus The Rock, Fully Loaded 1998, 2 out of 3 falls match for the IC title. I think this is a really fun match. It ends in a draw, but it's one of those matches that you really wanted to see more out of. And it's like, oh man, they screwed us over and could have done so much with this. It did have a 30-minute time limit, so the time expired after the third fall could be attained. Number 4, I'm going to go with Austin versus Dude Love, Over the Edge 98. Austin and Dude Love, Mick Foley, whatever you want to call them, just had great chemistry together. They knew the crowd, and this was Mick Foley as another heel again. And this would be pretty much the end of his heel run, and beginning in, June, July, he would start becoming more of a tweener and eventually become a more babyface character. Number 3, I'm going to go with the ladder match from SummerSlam, Triple H and The Rock. Again, no surprise. This was an excellent match. It's hard to follow Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon from WrestleMania, SummerSlams of past. But honestly, I think this one is just as good. It might be better than the SummerSlam 95 ladder match. But it's pretty good overall. I liked it. It was in the Garden, so you had that awesome crowd behind it. And the reaction Triple H got from this title win was just incredible. The crowd just erupted when Triple H won that IC title. Number 2, I'm going to go with the casket match from the Royal Rumble. Again, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, 2 of the greatest of all time. And anytime they could mix it up, and especially in a match like a casket match, I thought this match came together really well. The story was there, and you had some outside interference from Kane and other superstars. I thought it was really well done. For an honorable mention, just couldn't make the top 5 here. I'm gonna go with Undertaker versus Kane, WrestleMania 14. I know the match does get a lot of heat, but honestly, I think that's one of the best big men matches of all time. The story was definitely there. You know, the two brothers clashing heads, and it took Undertaker 3 tombstones to keep the man down for a 3 count, but Kane barely got the shoulder up. And the number one match from 1998, you probably guessed it by now. Hell in a Cell, Undertaker, Mankind. It's one of the most iconic matches in WWE history. For obvious reasons, I mean, Mankind falling off the Hell in a Cell is just epic. It's iconic. It's something you'll never forget. That chilly night in Pittsburgh in the igloo, I think people will remember that for the rest of their lives, especially the ones that were there live in attendance. It's one of my favorite matches to go back and watch. From the two bumps off the cell, through the cell. Once we get past that, it turns into a pretty good match. Mick Foley is, knocked loopy for several minutes, but once I think he gains a little bit of consciousness, you start to see him, really go into work. He grabs a thumbtacks, grabs a chair, hits a leg drop on Undertaker's skull, and Undertaker does hit a nice tombstone to win, but I think this match is just great. It's awesome. So let me know your thoughts on this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, and keep your eye out for the best of 1999 once we finish wrapping up the rest of the pay-per-views. I think we got about 5 or 6 more, which isn't too bad. So anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Take some time, subscribe. We'll talk to you later. Peace.